Welcome back to Comic Book Hero, and I'm here to answer a long-standing question. You want to grade your books? Do you want to do CGC or do you want to do CBCS? Now, CGC has been the gold standard for years at this point. And as a matter of fact, CBCS actually is started by guys who used to work for CGC. So I would think that you're in good hands with either one. But you know how fanboys are. One has to be better than the other. It's either Coke or Pepsi. So today I just wanted to examine it a little bit. Look, CGC, after all of my research, and CBCS, after all of my research, are not that different in terms of what you get. You can submit books to either one by mail. You will have to register if you want to do certain things in terms of a membership with either one, be it CGC or CBCS. Both of them, their turnaround times tend to be pretty good. CGC has gotten slated for having a turnaround time that is notoriously slow, but they've hired more staff and their numbers have picked up. I have seen that in the books that I've needed to get back. CBCS is said to have really, really excellent customer service. So at the end of the day, it boils down to, well, which one am I going to get the most money for in terms of my book? Now, hey, I understand. You're that collector who says, look, I'm not collecting these books to sell them. How can I put this to you gently? You're going to die. Okay, one day you are going to die. And that collection that you have is not going to be passed from you to your son or your nephew or your daughter or your niece. More than likely, it's going to be sold because you were the comic book collector, not them. If they're smart, they'll sell it. And at the end of the day, your collection, those keys that you have put together and encased, okay, in this durable, hard plastic in order to ensure that it will be viable for years, if not centuries later, okay, is only going to sell as well as whatever the label is on there. With CGC, there are 4 labels to choose from, rather not to choose from, but that you can expect on a particular book. There's the universal label, okay, the signature series, the qualified label, and the restored label. You don't want a restored label. Okay. With CBCS, you also have a series of labels, but I want to focus on their red label, which is their certified label. Now, that is probably the most important difference between CBCS and CGC. The fact that CBCS will verify, I'm sorry, not certify, but verify, okay, signatures, which I thought was a really great thing. Let's say you have a book that's been signed by Jerry Siegel, who is no longer with us, God rest his soul. If you take it to CGC, CGC will give you the green qualified label. Okay, that just says there's writing on there. And then you can hope that somebody believes that it's Jerry Siegel's signature, and maybe you'll make some money on it. With CBCS, they will actually verify that it is Jerry Siegel's signature. Now, they were not able to witness this signature, so you get the red label as opposed to the gold label. Now, here's the thing. After a bunch of research as to which sells better, a qualified book by CGC, a verified book by CBCS. The surprising thing is that the CGC book still sells better with a qualified label. That means if CGC states that this is writing on the book, you have a better chance of making a more profit on that book as opposed to CBCS, who verifies this signature. That I found to be quite amazing, and it's not a one-shot deal. You do enough searches, okay, over books that have sold, okay, at different places. eBay is probably your first stop, your best stop. But when you look, CGC sells better overall. That for me is the bottom line and the biggest difference. Okay? If you're going to grade something and you want the bang for your buck and you want the value, then you have to go with the gold standard. And while CBCS is not anything lesser, in my opinion, for whatever reason, okay, collectors are willing to pay more for a CGC label. The bigger question has to be, hey, why do collectors, including myself, put so much more faith, money, standard on CGC? Is it the fact that CGC has been out longer? Is it the fact that, you know, CGC is more recognizable? Is it the fact that CGC is a part of a larger company? Who knows? But the bottom line is, if you grade 2 books, and they're both Venom, as we see behind me, you're going to get more money for the CGC one. $30, $50, $100, the fact is you're going to make more money. And at the end of the day, we all want to make more money when it comes to these particular collections. If it's something that you're going to endow someone later on, a CGC collection, as long as they're the gold standard, is going to reap more benefit in terms of money than it is something else. Aside of that, you're really not looking at a lot of difference. I've had good customer service from both. I've had good books come back. I've had books come back where I didn't agree with the marks. But in terms of the overall money, CGC is where it's at. If that's not where you're at, okay, then I guess CBCS is where you want to go. Hope this helps. See you next time.